Here we go.
If you know me, and especially follow me on Letterboxd, you probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of the Alien franchise, especially that original movie. After, I believe, 2 or 3 watches, it unfortunately has just never been one that has totally clicked with me. Maybe over the years that'll change, and it's one of those movies that I really want to love, but I just can't. I am more of an Aliens guy, and then I even like Alien Covenant more than the original Alien. I think that'll tell you everything you need to know about my thoughts on the franchise. So I was going into a new Alien movie not overly excited, but interested to see where they could go next. I'm not crazy about the lore. I've seen all the movies, and you can check out my ranking of them right up here. When it comes down to Alien Romulus, I found that I did have a fun time with this one, and especially after the gnarly third act, I dug it overall. But as we get into the rest of this review, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below what are your thoughts or expectations for Alien Romulus. But let's keep talking about the movie. First and foremost, if you are an Alien diehard fan, or just a big fan of the franchise in general, this is a movie that was made with the fans' best interest in mind, no doubt. So if that is you, this is going to be a movie that you most likely love. I've already seen some complain that the movie has too much fan service and it struggles to create an identity for itself. I can understand the complaint. I didn't personally find that to be a setback for me. But for better and for worse, it's very much so a love letter to the Alien franchise. When it comes to the better, it's for all the good reasons you can think of. The movie has action that reminds you of Aliens. It has horror that reminds you of all the great moments in the previous movies. And I really enjoyed this movie is more horror focused than anything, I would say. That's what kept me most invested throughout this horror side of it. You have callbacks to prior movies, whether you're talking about Prometheus. The movie continues to add on to some lore that was established in that movie. And then there are some callbacks that are so in your face that it comes off honestly cringy. There's a line of dialogue towards the end of the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, and it did not land for me. The movie also, instead of recasting an actor without getting into spoilers, it utilizes AI and CGI. We've seen it done plenty of times before, even Star Wars, for example, utilizing someone like Carrie Fisher. Think of any movie that utilizes a character who was portrayed by an actor, but since that actor has now died, they don't want to recast, but instead just use to the best of their abilities visual effects and all that good stuff to recreate something of a person. It was pretty distracting in Alien Romulus. I think that if you're a fan, like I said, a hardcore fan, you'll probably be like, oh, I appreciate that. And also I can see the complaint that if you were a fan and then they had recast it, I could see you complaining, being like, this person doesn't live up to what the prior actor did. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. You're either going to have people like me complaining about how they handled the visual effects and stuff like that, use of AI. And if they had recasted, you're going to have people complaining about the recast not being as good. So from a filmmaking perspective, you kind of just had to take whatever you thought was the best option. They took the former, and here I am complaining about it. So there you go. But speaking of visual effects, I think the movie does do a good job of balancing practical and visual effects. You have the Xenomorphs, which, in my opinion, look the best in visual effects form. I like when movies balance both practical and visual effects, and especially if you're a filmmaker that can do them both, it comes off really well. And in the case of Alien Romulus, I thought that they did a very good job. They're effectively gross when they need to be. With the Alien movies, I feel like if you are squeamish, or even like me, like tend to be a little bit grossed out but can still watch, like this movie and this franchise in general does a good job of getting underneath your skin. No pun intended, and really making you feel grossed out. And the sets are really cool too. This is a movie that has a very self-contained story for the most part. I thought the actors did a good job too. You have Kaylee Spaney in the lead. She continues to prove herself to be an actor to look out for as she continues to grow in her career. And even David Johnson's performance did take me a little bit to kind of get used to how he was portraying the character, which was an intentional choice, of course. I don't want to spoil it, but how he portrays the character, it makes sense. But I have to say it took me a little bit to just get on board with that. Are the characters all that memorable? I wouldn't say so, but we've only had one movie, and I don't know if people came out of Alien thinking that Ripley was going to be this iconic character that she has now become. So if they were to continue with this string of movies, potentially with Fede Alvarez continuing, I would like to see another Alien movie from him. I think that he has proved himself to be more than capable of tackling this franchise, especially in an effective manner that carries on the legacy for hardcore fans and even for newer fans or fans that don't feel the need to rewatch the movies that often. I would put myself into that category. You don't have to know everything about the lore to know exactly what's going on. Would it help? Yes, but it's not entirely necessary. And for me, that's why I feel like it stands on its own. I will say that I did feel the length of the movie. I think the movie could have done a better job just being a little bit tighter in the edit. Editing it down just a bit to really continue with the pacing and keep me on the edge of my seat throughout. But it's funny, just when you think the movie's over, there's actually at least 30 or so minutes left. And they call back to something that was set up earlier, and I always appreciate when movies do that. So the seed, if you will, that was planted earlier, then fully sprouts. I'm just now realizing that what I'm saying has a lot of comparisons to the Alien franchise and the face huggers in general, and that wasn't even intentional. But it takes a gnarly turn, and I appreciated that bold energy that the movie brings. In the end, I did feel fairly satisfied coming out of the movie. I enjoyed what it had to offer, how the movie balances both being a nod to what has come before and also standing on its own a little bit and bringing new life to the franchise, especially for someone that's not crazy about it, when I can get a new movie to kind of revitalize it all, inject a fresh vision to it, and especially when it's done as well as it is in Romulus, I'm inherently going to be on board for that. I'm going to give Alien Romulus a B-, and I would recommend seeing this one in theaters, especially if you're a hardcore fan. I do think this one would play well with a packed crowd too, when you're all kind of gasping at what's going on. I mean, movies are always better with a packed crowd, let's be honest. Be sure to let me know if you've seen the movie, what did you think of it down below in the comments. I want to thank you so much for watching this review, and as always, look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.